Warner. I am the project manager here at Department of Procurement Services. Welcome to our eProcurement workshop. So basically what eProcurement is electronic module that we build upon within our FMPS system where we allow you, the vendor, to register in the iSupplier portal, which we'll get to later. Register to see your invoicing, your payments, update your ship to information, things of that nature, right? And so one of the great things about the new system is basically allowing you as the vendor to go on and register and submit a bid online. So no more of this paper stuff, right? And so I'm probably jumping the gun, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what eProcurement basically is and why are we providing this workshop for today. Of course, we're not down in the bid and bond room. This is our conference room in 1103, but typically we hold this conference down, this workshop downstairs. Okay. Again, basically what I just said, an overview of eProcurement. eProcurement is an enhancement of the city procurement and financial system that applies digital technology through acquisition of goods and services. Again, basically allowing you to respond to online bidding, RFPs, RFQs. We have our first bid out there, which is the commodities bid. Woo-hoo. So we had our pre-bid on yesterday, which was successful. So I will definitely show you what that looks like, and in the future, where to go to look at all of our bids. Okay. Key objective here for you is allowing the vendor to download and respond to the solicitation electronically. As we roll this process out, we're doing it in phases. And again, we started with our commodity bid, and then we'll go on to small orders. And so as we roll these particular procurement type out, we will no longer accept paper, but you'll be made aware of that through various communications. So right now we just have the one commodity. We still accepting some paper bid, but for this particular one commodity bid, it's all electronic, okay? For the city part of eProcurement, it's basically allowing us to process your paperwork faster, get rid of all of the paper that we have or receive on a daily basis with working with the other departments that we get to shuffle. So no longer of us shuffling, we can able to access our documents in one particular place. Okay. iSupplier, iSupplier portal, which I'll be showing to you a little later. Hopefully, we will be sending it out to every vendor in the city of Chicago that will register for us. And there's a couple of ways to register. If you are currently doing business with the city or had a contract with the city and had a supplier ID, we will invite you. You'll get an invite, and I'll show you what that looks like. But if you never done business with the city and you wanted to do business with the city, then you will have to register, do a full registration. And again, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. All right. Where to find this this iSupplier portal pretty much. You'll be directed to the site address is cityofchicago.org/eProcurement. And then that will land you on our microsite. And I'll show you what our microsite looks like. And so if you're a brand new vendor that needs to be wanted to register with our supplier, what you will need is your FIN number, a FIN number, and then a copy of your W-9, which you will attach. Okay. A lot of communication once you register, we will send through the iSupplier portal. So some of the procurement specialists, they may call you, but a lot of time, if you're bidding on a particular bid or something, we'll communicate that via the system. All right. So all those questions when you have a bid and they give you deadlines for submitting questions and things of that nature, it will go through this, the supplier. So basically you will have an email address you'll put on file with us, and please periodically could check and make sure that is accurate, because again, we will communicate that. Any communications will be via the iSupplier portal. Okay, this is at a high level what the portals look like, right? Once you go into cityofchicago.org/eProcurement, this is the microsite we developed. So easy to navigate. We had 10 pilot vendors to go on and give us feedback on what makes sense and how to actually, you as a vendor would like to see it and navigate through it. So I will go on live, but this is just at a high level what that microsite looks like. Okay. On the microsite, you will actually see training. You'll have training materials on how to register, how to update your information, how to bid, right? How to send an online message. So it's in the form of a PDF, and then we also have step-by-step videos as well. So we try to give you more resources as possible where, if you get stuck, you can actually go on to the online materials and go through. Okay. eProcurement online bidding, again, I'll show you the actual commodities bid we have out there live, but this is basically a screenshot of what you will see once you click on online bidding, right? You will have the solicitation number, the bidding number, and then basically the supplier response due date. Keep in mind the dates that you'll see on the bidding information on the microsite, and then the detail buttons. The detail buttons allows you to go in at a high level and view what the solicitation is about. It comes with a PDF attachment. That PDF attachment will give you a detail of the solicitation itself with all the required documents is needed at that time. As you register, upon registering for your iSupplier portal, you'll get to see, again, payments, what's out there, what the various contracts you have bid on, the status of your invoice. Very soon we'll be accepting invoices online from you. So no more waiting, again, shipping your papers to our finance departments. You can upload it in the system. Again, we're gradually going through various phases, rolling this out. We started with commodities and small orders. We have that commodity bid out there. Next, hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have the small orders bid out there very shortly. And then we'll move on to the RFPs, RFQs, work services, vehicle and heavy equipment, architectural engineering, and then construction. They may change, the order may change, but right now this is where we're at. Okay. Again, once upon registration, this is what the home page you will land on and within your iSupplier portal. One being where you're able to view your orders and payments, make updates to your address, add other individuals that you want to have access to your login information. And then 2 is where you would do your online bidding. Okay. And this is just at a high level, a sample of viewing the orders, right? It has your amount, the order date, the description, the type, and then, of course, operating units, always City of Chicago. These are our other avenues where we can be reached via Facebook, Twitter, web postings we'll see. You'll be able to connect that way. And again, just regular on cityofchicago.org homepage. Okay, so now I'll show you and within our system what that looks like as far as the commodity bid, what you'll do after registering, and then how to bring up the documents, that the solicitation document if you're interested in bidding in that particular commodity, small order, whatever it may be. Okay? Let me get here. Sure. Any questions before I show this?
Are you taking questions at the end too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll wait.
No, sure. Go ahead.
The commodity one you just had out, you said it was a pre-bid conference.
Yes.
What was that for?
This is it was for the water department, ethylene glycol, yes.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Here is the actual site, microsite. As I was stating earlier, if you already have been invited to register, to log in, you will click, upon going into the microsite, you'll click on log in and register. If you have if you already registered, you'll click on log in. But if you need to register, you'll click register. And again, if you've done business with the city, you have a supplier number, what have you, you will request an invitation. And so in order for us to get you registered, and so we won't make duplicates, we will have to invite you, right? So, but if you've never done business with the city, you're brand new, then you will click on new vendor registration. And then it is at that time you will attach your W-9, a copy of your W-9 form. Okay. And go back home. The tutorial here, online material, training material. Again, what that looks like is if you're first time accessing the supplier, you would click here and a video would start and then show you step by step. Well, that's a PDF.
It's fine, we can walk through the PDF.
Yeah, sure, okay.
So the PDFs give you very detailed instructions of how to go and do the various tasks. Just repeat that.
So the PDF just gives you step-by-step instructions on various tasks. And then it provides you with just a screenshot of what you will see. Okay? It doesn't have... Uh-oh, sorry. All right. Also, you'll click on the video just to launch the YouTube video. If if you're more visual than just reading, and again, it will just tell you step by step what to do. All right. There's no sound. It's just all in video showing you how to access or how to register. And at any time, you can go home. Now for current bidding. And this is where you will find, by clicking on current bid, this is where you will find our electronic bid and then the non-electronic bid, meaning the paper bids. So that's still the same. Say if you want to see what's out there electronically, you'll click on electronic bid. And this is what I was referring to earlier. This is that first commodities bid that we have out there, right? And we held the pre-bid on yesterday. And you can see that the advertisement date, we advertised it. The response starts on that day. the response to bid, the date, due date as to when the bid closes, and you need to have all the information in is towards the end of the month. And then the deadline for question is the 14th. Okay? So say if this is one of the bids that you were interested in and you want a little bit more information, that detail button that I talked about earlier, you'll click on it, and it gives you a high level of what this solicitation document is, and then it also tells you about the important dates. But if you want to see more on the particular bid and what the solicitation is about, you'll click on the PDF file. And depending on your system at home, it may be a little faster than what we have right now. And so it's still spinning. Okay, and so then I will just open the bid. And so this is what the actual bid looks like. The solicitation document looks like, right? And so you'll just go through, read it or print it out or what have you, and then look at what we're expecting back, okay? Any questions at this time? No? Okay, all right. Now, so if you're registered, you sent a request saying, I wanted to register, you got your username and password, what have you, and you are interested in applying or bidding on this particular, say, solicitation, you'll click on login. And this is where you will put in that particular email address, which is your username and then your password, right? So I'll just put in and so again, this is your home page of your.
What's it like to live where you
Oh,
work? For most of us, that's unthinkable.
where is it?
But imagine living and working in one of the biggest countries in the world.
Oh, the YouTube. I'm like, where is that coming from? Sorry. So this is your home page. I logged in as a vendor, and you will click on City of Chicago online bidding, sourcing, and then sourcing home page. And so from this site, the other solicitation site, you would have noted down your solicitation number, which in this case was 13, and then you will just type in, this is pretty much just bidding. I'm just showing you at a high level. You'll type that in, then you'll click on select and respond. And that's how you respond or start the bidding process. All right, so this is how you will start your bidding process. You pretty much default to the header. Any attachments that we're requiring, you will attach it at this time, and then continue on. Sorry. And these are the requirements that we're asking that you fill out. This will vary depending on the solicitation of the bid that's we're advertising for, but this will vary. So definitely make sure that you fill this portion out when you're interested in bidding on a particular document or bid opportunity. All right. You'll fill all this information out, answer the questions here, make sure we have your EDS, and then you will address a bid on each line. You'll click on the line tab, and then you'll put your pricing or what have you on each line, for each line. Now, you can change your bid up until the date of November 30th. You can change, you have the opportunity to change it. It will just overwrite what you currently have. Now, November 30th at 10:59, the bid will lock out. The system will not allow you to place another bid. Okay? All right. And it's during this time period, we are not able to see what you have written or what you have placed, the bid you have placed. No one else is allowed to as well. Okay?
And the system actually enforces those, so it's not just an internal rule. Your bid is encrypted and scrambled, so nobody can see it until the bid opening time of 11 o'clock. And so none of your competitors and no city person, so your information is secure. You also see at the top, we are using HTTPS security. This is the same security that's used when you access bank accounts online. So you can rest assured nobody is spying on your entry of your pricing during this time.
Okay. So since I started one yesterday and I said, oh, I want to go back and change because it's not November 30th, and I did some more research. So I changed my line items, and then I'll just hit on continue. You see that the submit button is divvied out. You will have to provide an electronic signature. So this indicates that you or whomever is filling this form out is submitting this proposal, and everything on here is true to the best of your abilities. Okay? And I'll place a check mark. And as you see, it's here where I'm able to submit. Now, it gives you an overview on what you're submitting, right? So if you say, did I submit that? Did I fill this portion out? Some of them are required and some of them are not. And so it might just let you pass and hit continue and submit. So before submitting, you might just want to review your work and review your answers. Okay? And it's at that time you can either submit or go back. So I go ahead and submit my bid, and it gives me a quote. And so you can document the quote if you like. So I'm going to go back to my, return to my sourcing homepage. Oh, I should have went to the negotiation homepage, but. And here is where you will find your response number. Okay? If you were invited, you'll find your invitations to that particular bid here. All right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my home page. And under City of Chicago iSupplier portal, this is where I can see all my payments or update my information. Okay? So if I want to see what payments are out there, I'll just go ahead and click on payments. If I got paid for anything, you can search between a particular PO number, date range, however you may. Right now, I think I'm just going to hit go and see what I have out there. Oh, you won't have anything. It's in the other instance. Sorry. So in here, because this is production and I'm a test vendor, I don't have anything. But if I did, it will show me the results of what my payments were. Should I go into the other? Okay. So where you can change your address and things of that nature, you'll go into your admin button. And this is where you will be able to change your address or contact information. You can update it or remove it or what have you, or create another one. All right. your company's profile. Again, this is where you enter things, your PIN number, or change it. Any questions at this particular moment? Sure.
So, back to the online bidding, when you're trying to get to the pricing page, you have to fill out everything that's on the requirement page first?
Yes.
Okay, in order
Yes.
for you to have access to the bidding.
Okay. So she's asking for when you're bidding and then you want to put in the pricing per line. And she's asking, should they fill out what's on the header page, the requirement page first, and then do lines? Yes.
Right, what I'm
Right.
actually,
I'm sorry.
you don't have access to the pricing page until you go through all those prompts.
No.
You can actually
You can
print-
actually do it.
You can put the pricing in first if you want, but you need to fill in all the other information on the header page, which is all those requirements and the attachments. You must have those to have a responsive bid. So it's fine to do the pricing and then you know what? I need to go and do something else. I can hit save draft and come back to it and get the other attachments later. But yes, you can do them in any order. We recommend you do them in the order that the tabs are there, but you can do them in any order if you'd like.
Okay, so I'll go there again. All right, so here, this is where you're asking, can you put the pricing here first? Is that what you're asking? I want to
Yes.
make sure I'm answering your question.
Yes.
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 Okay, so yes, you could, there's no particular order. You can go ahead and put your pricing in first, but you definitely want to make sure that everything that's on the header tab, which is required, is actually entered. Okay, so you can also just hit save as a draft and say you can come back later, but you have it until the close of the solicitation to go back and update your information.
Okay, and just to confirm, so you got to the pricing page by going to,
So and I'll do it again, no worries. I'm in cancel. All right. And so, and then I'll go back to the very beginning. So she's asking, how did I get to the pricing page? I have to repeat it it's being taped in. I didn't say that, did I?
You did.
Okay, all right. So say that you went out to the microsite and you saw this particular bid. You will perform a search. You jotted down the number, which I know is 13, right? You'll hit go, and then you'll click on select and respond. So at this time, if it wasn't on default, this is where I left off, it would default to header, right? And so the header is where you have all the required fields, and then you'll either hit continue or you just go to the next tab and hit the lines tab. Did that answer your question? I'm gonna,
well, when I did it, it's continuously showing me an error message. So that's why I was just asking, are you required to fill out all those prompts? Right?
yes.
It's showing you an error. What
Where?
are you using this a tablet device?
Yes.
I would.
Problem. You have to have a
This software has only been tested on using a PC.
Okay.
So we can't guarantee that it will perform properly if you're using an iPad or anything like that to bid. Please do bid using a PC standard browser,
I
and you
just
should.
want to be able to follow along.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, if you're not,
absolutely.
actually, you can help us because I'd like to come by afterwards and see the error that you're receiving, because again, we probably need to put something up there saying it's only been tested on this, and bidding on an iPad is at your own risk.
Right.
So,
Definitely would like to
but
see
thank you
that.
for bringing that up. You're the first one that's brought this up to our attention. This has not been validated on iPads, so,
Well, that's good to know.
okay,
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you for that.
thank you.
Okay. And say if you went and you want to save it for another day, right? and say, I want to ask them a question. How do you do that, right? So let me go back to my negotiation page, and I saved it as a draft. It came out, then I'm going to log back in. So it's spinning, so. And it's like, oh, I need to ask them a question, before I submit. And so you see my status now is in draft, right? So I'll come here on my solicitation number, I'll click there, and in the action drop-down menu, it says online discussion. I'll click on that and click go. This is where you as a vendor could ask us questions, right? And so earlier I was saying you can we'll be interacting with you via iSupplier, via online message, and this is where you can interact with us as well, asking your questions.
So just one clarification on that is you saw that there is a question period that goes through the 14th of the month on that bid. So if you want to send a question in that will be answered in the clarifications and addendum, you can use this as your method, or you can use an email or fax if you want to be old school, but if you're using this we recommend this. However, after the 14th, as with all other bids, we cannot answer questions about the specification after that time. You could ask for assistance with, the use of the software and things that do not relate to, the content of the bid would be the only questions you could ask after the 14th.
Okay. And so the subject would always, so we recommend that it starts with the specification number followed by a colon and then your question. All right. So that way, although this is the system of records, we know what spec it belongs to, because you may want to bid on other items, right? And so we know what spec it belongs to and then what your question is. Okay? So say if you're like, oh no, I'm good, I think I know what it is, I don't want to send a message, how do you just get back out? You'll just hit cancel and then cancel here, and then it'll bring you right back to the solicitation document. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. All right.
You can open other questions now, or?
Yes, please.
So, we have had contracts with the city.
Mm-hmm. We have to document it with go ahead.
So we have had contracts with the city, both as a contractor and a supplier or vendor. So will we have to register both entities, if you will?
So that's you will have to register as a vendor. Am I correct, Ben?
I'm sorry, when you say you were a contractor, does that mean you were a subcontractor to the city?
So we've submitted, for example, commodities bid as a supplier. We've also submitted bids as a contractor. So,
For services.
right.
Or
service.
construction.
Construction, right.
You can bid on any different type of contract once you're registered in the city. So the answer is you only have to register once.
Right.
And then you can see commodities contracts, you can see construction. At this point, as you saw earlier in the phased rollout, construction is not being done through this system yet. So those will continue to be your books and CDs that you pick up. In a future time when construction is also advertised in the system, no additional registration is required. You'll just see them listed. You can go view them and respond to them the same account.
No, I haven't. Thank you. Is there additional questions? Yes.
Okay, so how you said that you potentially could receive messages from the
System.
system. Would you receive any type of notification, email, or is it something where you need to just make sure you're manually checking it?
Yeah, so good question. It will actually go to your email. So the email address that you put in, see, and I'll go home.
Do they need to activate it under preferences, just like the city?
I don't think so. I think once you add it in, it will, that's my preference. That's, well, we'll see.
You're under KWM
Okay.
Paints. Oh,
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about
I
doing
think it's
this
defaulted though.
for the vendors. I'm not sure.
I didn't change it.
Okay, one thing, do you see this screen that we got into by clicking preferences at the top, which is in the upper right-hand corner? So there's a bunch of different settings, one of which is called notifications. And then can you click on the, in the city, notifications by itself is disabled and until it's enabled. But I think for vendors, it's defaulted, but I would, because it's
it
new,
is.
it
It's
is
defaulted,
to
mhm.
email so that you will receive emails.
Right.
But
Right.
if not, for whatever reason, make sure, we advise everybody check to make sure that your emails are actually enabled.
Right.
For some reason, if it's marked disabled, you'll never see any email notifications.
So, and then so the email address that you put, and I want to make sure that, I forget where it is. I have so many different views on mine. I don't think so. Because it will show here. And here is where your notification will go. So yes, to answer your question, you'll get an email notification. It will say something to the effect like workflow mailer or mailer workflow, and that's actually coming from the system itself. So definitely check your spam.
Yes, these things do tend to fall into spam filters, so
Yeah.
make sure you do check those and make sure that you're able to receive them.
Additional questions?
If you're just starting out and you don't know anything, what are the best workshops to go to? Like this one, doing business with the city, is that like an intro?
Rodney, you want to answer that? So she's asking if you're just beginning with the city, starting out, and what are some of the best workshops to attend with the city?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. DPS offers 18 free workshop classes throughout the year. I would suggest Procurement Fundamentals 101, how to become certified, doing business with the city of Chicago. Those are our three main ones that you can get a high-level overview of what we do here in procurement. We also stream these workshops online on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Chicago DPS. And you can actually go on there right now and you can review some of those old classes that we got. We also have our PowerPoint presentations online on our website at cityofchicago.org/DPS. So if you go to our events and outreach section, you can get those PowerPoints, just like the one we have up here, online. You can browse through that at your leisure. So.
Okay, all right, great, thank you.
Yes.
So since we've had contracts with the city, you said we still need to get an invitation from iSupplier.
Yes,
So we can go in now and request our invitation.
absolutely.
And then you'll cross-reference that we're already registered, so we
Correct.
wouldn't have to register.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And so once you send us a request for an invitation, we'll go in and review your request and review the supplier information. And then you will receive an email back or a notification back saying you've now been registered or whatever the verbiage may be, and then it has you to follow a couple of prompts. And so it allows you, hopefully, you only have one supplier number. We're doing a mass cleanup for vendors that have multiple supplier numbers. And so with that being said, if you have multiple supplier numbers, you may have a contract using one particular supplier number over other, and you may not see all your payments, right? And so we at DPS are doing some cleanup on that. So you'll have one particular supplier number, and all of your invoices, all your payments, going to follow up under that one. So if you have two, I'm not saying that you do. If you have two, note that only particular payments for that particular supplier number will follow. You won't see everything. Okay? Yes.
For the bidding process.
Sure.
So once you've submitted your bid and everything,
Mhm.
the bid tabulations, will they be found online, or is there still like a in-person bid opening?
You want to address that?
Sure.
It will be the same as the paper bids. Once this process, for example, November 30th, we will do the online e-procurement first. And if there are any paper bids, we will follow with the paper bids. They will still be on YouTube to view. And bid tabulations will still be found online within maybe 48 hours after the bidding process. So.
So you don't need to come into the actual,
No, that's the
bid
purpose of
bond
for
Okay.
you don't have
So
to.
you would just be looking online for that?
That's correct.
Okay.
But you can still come into the bid bond room to hear the results.
You can, but you can go to YouTube and it's broadcast right there at 11 o'clock, right in the comfort of your office. You can look at it.
YouTube site on here?
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's YouTube.com. I think it's /Chicago DPS. And so all you would do is look for the specification number
Okay.
and then just click on.
You said, once you're registered, you can bid on any type of contract, is that correct? Did I hear correctly or no?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, once you're registered, you can go, the system will let you bid on every kind of contract. Now, that said, of course, you need to be a responsive, responsible bidder, meaning that, whatever your line of business is, you'll only obviously be bidding on things that pertain to your line of business. The other
Right.
contracts would not be of interest to you.
Right.
Sure. No problem.
So for, like our other staff members in the office that work specifically on bids but have nothing to do with the accounting side of the company, is there any way that you can kind of like restrict access for what it is that they see?
No,
I think the way this is set up now is that bidding and viewing of the information is all one responsibility, and that's the standard one.
correct.
Okay.
So whoever you get would be able to bid and see. If there's enough demand amongst vendors, we may implement it in the future, but that's not how we have it set up now.
Okay, thank you.
And just for YouTube, the question was, does the system allow separation of responsibilities for the financial side versus people who are bidding? And the answer is no. There's only one responsibility, which allows both the bidding as well as the viewing of contract and payment information.
Okay. Sure, no.
Once you submit the bid online, will you have a confirmation response of some kind?
Yes. So, good question. So, it's a little slow. All right. So once you submit your bid, you'll get this response number, and then the bid, what you responded to, or what have you.
So the number is your confirmation
That's
that
your
the
confirmation.
system
that you-
took it.
That's your, yeah, exactly.
Now, if you want to print, that said, there was a printable page, if you want, we didn't
Sure.
show you that, but,
Sure.
well, let's look at that. That, if you want to print out everything that your bid response included, you can do the view printable page, which we can show
Let's see
you.
if it's on this one, I'm sorry. Is that one? No, that's contract time, sorry. So slow. Is it this one?
Printable view, yes.
And then you hit go.
So that is under actions on the upper right-hand corner.
And then you'll click on printable view and then go.
Click.
It's still
Let's see.
spinning. Great question. And then it comes up in a PDF.
And
There it is.
then, let's go, scroll through, because it duplicates the bid itself.
Right.
And then there's a section called lines. Whoops.
Uh-oh, sorry.
Response rules, keep going. Lines, I think, is next.
Right.
Okay. So,
Mine's just in draft.
oh wait, so printable view is actually just printing the
Mm-hmm.
bid. But then their actual bid prices,
Yeah.
there's not a printable view of that, is there?
No, I don't think so.
That was just going back to the lines. Go ahead and click lines.
But-
And I think, yes, so here, if you want to, so actually I'm sorry for taking you down a rabbit hole there. We're just getting familiar with this too. So once you've already submitted, you can print this screen out, and notice it has your price in here. Well, there's estimated quantity. Best price is sealed, so notice that we can't
We
see
can't
it.
see
Apparently,
it.
you can't see it either
Right,
after it's
but
submitted.
because, no, it's not submitted.
Oh, it's
This
not
one,
submitted.
yeah, I was still playing in it, it's still in draft status, so, because this one's still in draft status, it's not allowing for the other one to print. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Sorry, see, draft status and
Okay,
this
so
is
the other
that.
one that's active can, if we do printable view, let's see if the price will actually show.
So that's just showing you, the other one just showed you it says seal, so we can see that, what you bid. Not sure if it's gonna allow you, since the other one is still in draft, but we'll see. I'm sorry. No, I don't think it does, because it's in draft. See, it's
No.
still not, because I didn't.
I think,
It's still, it's in draft, it may change. Remember the other, sorry.
so prior to submission is when you want to print out your prices and whatever, and then you'll have a record of it. But even if you don't have the record, the fact that you have that number, the quote number, and it says active, that tells you that the system has taken your bid.
See, let's see.
So 3001 is active. So 3003 is draft. That means if it's in draft, that's not submitted to the city.
Correct.
Maybe quote history.
Let me just submit it. Oh, no changes.
We can quote history in this case.
Sure.
That shows us.
So earlier, we had the 300, no, it's archive, and then the other one is 900, so, 'cause
So-
I changed the bid.
So this one, notice it doesn't give you the lines, but it gives you your bid total. So if you, and this is, the history is for that one bid. So if you did corrections to it, you will see your
Changes.
your changes to your bid total as it went on and what time you did that.
Are there additional questions?
More on timing, do you guys have like a rough schedule when the rest of the categories are going to be on?
Procurement type? No, sorry, thank you. The question was, do we have a estimate time as to when the rest of the procurement types will be rolled out? We don't have a date per se because we want to make sure we vet every possible thing that may go wrong. And so we're really taking our time out before we put it out there and then we don't want to have to pull it back. And so that's why we're only doing one commodities, vetting that through, and then going on to the small orders. So thank you, great question. But it's going to be throughout this year and then the remaining of this year and then next year.
Assuming that commodities goes well, that the first one is awarded soon without any issues, we will start to do more commodities then, I would imagine, within a month after that. So I'm thinking that beginning in January, you may see more commodities bids, assuming the pilot goes well.
Great question.
And the other ones will be, the intention is to roll them all out throughout 2017, with the last one going by the end of 2017. That said, it's all subject to change depending on our experience with the rollouts. So,
Yes. Go ahead.
So, will you be able to search like archive bids on here as well?
Archive bids?
Like older bids, like so once a bid has expired, once a bid has already ended.
Great question. I believe.
there's several possibilities here.
Yes.
If you want to just view the old closed solicitations, let's go back to the abstract page.
Sure.
And then the other one is viewing your own bid history.
Here.
So do you see there's active, there's closed, awarded, and canceled. We don't have any closed, I don't think, but let's see.
Air it out. That's weird.
Like, so let's go to
I'll do all.
all and then close. We'll see what we have.
I don't think we have any closed.
No, so again, we have not very little here because we have our first one. But in the future, if you're asking for history, you can look at closed ones.
And
But
then,
Is this pertaining specifically to your company history or just?
no, this is everybody's. Now, to go to your history,
you will go to your,
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, there's your question is in two parts.
Okay.
There is some history here, and the other history for your company of what you bid is
well, you'll
when
find
you logged in and you saw all those quote numbers.
That's your history. This
That's-
is your organization history. And then the other one, as you were asking, you'll find that on the abstract page, which we showed you, where you can do an all search, where you have all the closed, open, or whatever status it may be in.
And then here, there was also that button that said full list, because it's only going to show you, I think, like 10 at a time. So if after a while you're a very active bidding company, you have a lot of them, click full list to see them all.
And then eventually, would this be the only portal? Because currently you can see active and expired solicitations and awarded solicitations on the other state procurement site.
Okay, the other site is not going away. Let's go back to here. This part will stay active until we transition all over to electronic bidding. So there'll be paper and electronic for quite an extended transition period, probably the next year at the very least. And then there's a whole nother website which Tish alluded to earlier with regards to the the bid tabs, and that's we call our vendors contracts and payments website. That is not going anywhere
Ever.
No.
ever. They're not. So that will continue for the indefinite future because this system does not have all the capabilities that has.
Thank you.
Additional questions?
So in respect to that, the records, earlier you mentioned you could see invoices and payments on here. Is it gonna be just information going forward on bids that you've gotten, or once you're registered, you're gonna see stuff that you have now?
Stuff that you have now, right? For all payments?
Let's repeat the question.
Oh, sorry. So the question was, going forward, would you see payments or on basically what you bidded on specifically, or just payments in general for your organization? Is that correct? So it would be all types of payments. So whatever your company, any invoicing payments that you receive from the city of Chicago under your supplier number, you're able to see.
Even on existing contracts, yes.
Yes.
However, of course, your bidding history is only, of course, on new things going forward.
Okay. I think that's it. Sure. Okay. Well, thank you for coming out today. Well, these were great questions, and I hope it was very informative for you. We definitely want to see that error. So, yeah, so thank you, and please email us from the microsite or what have you. Contact us. Let us know if we can be of help. Okay. Shut it off.